Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, June 23rd. We are looking at window traders market profile of the ES and SPY. We will be recapping all of these our three indices charts. Incredibly, this turned into the fourth day in a row, basically an instant replay. I said yesterday I was down 37.5 points coming in today. I would get them back. I did not get them all back, but I'm very happy. I got 26 points back. Saw the day very well. Didn't take advantage of this big. I made money on this short, but did not take full advantage of that move, and we called it. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's just go over the other ones real quickly. NQ ends 9 wide, okay, and they have an inside day, so keep that in mind for next week. Righty couldn't get anything going, and then all of a sudden they end up with a trend day down. They had 9 wide, afternoon rally high and high, and a poor high, and they held their gap. Now for us, we did gap lower. That failed. That means only 6 out of 25 downside gaps have held, 24%. We took out both sides of the IB. That's the 40th time this year. That's 33.6% of the time we've done that. We attempted to go trend up, not once, but twice. I only counted as one. So we're only successful 25 out of 70 trend days up, 35.7%. We end only 8 wide, and we have the days high and low, which means if we don't gap on Monday, and again, we've been gapping almost 50% of the year, but if we don't, expect some major chop inside of here. We do have an inside week, so that definitely slows the tempo on the weekly, but technically it does not stop the weekly from being up. I'll call it up to balance since we have the inside week. We talked about all week how the market was pushing lower, and it did. But guess what? Today's range is $2.59. 2 of our 10 smallest ranges are this week. All 4 days of our volume is below average. Now, I'm not saying they can't really get going. Believe me, we can. But so far, they've not shown that ability. I'm calling the daily down for sure now. We're one time framing down 4 days. We have the gap above us. But it almost, when we look at the chart, it almost looks like when you're grinding up and, you get like 4 days in a row with small upward moves and then they get taken back in one shot. It's kind of reminding me of that on the reverse side. Now, that doesn't mean new sellers can't come into this market and we start getting some good tempo to the downside. And right now, all sellers are getting paid. For goodness sake, we almost closed at the week's low. We're not far off the week's low. However, there's just something missing from this push by the sellers that's not encouraging as far as I'm concerned if they really plan on getting things going. I did a lot of trading today for 1, 2 points and things of that nature. It's silly to go over them. I saw the market well. I shorted A period for small, but then I played it from the long side in B, C, D, and did well on that. E period I shorted because we weren't getting much and we didn't hold single prints. So I shorted against B's high. G period, I took a long to get the overnight POC, worked on that one. I'm just showing you some little things that I did. J period, that's when I took the short at around, what did I take it? I think I took it at 4,200 or something. I made like 5 points on it, but didn't maximize it. But look, bottom line is I did well. I even traded K, L, and M a little bit on the short side. So I was on both sides of the market a lot today. Made 26 points. The biggest I did was 5 points. So I made 5 points in J on the short, 4 in G on the long, 3 in C on the long. Everything was small basically, but it adds up to 26 points. And I only lost 11.5 points on the week. So I'm very happy with that. As I want to go over one thing though, what I was trying to explain to the room. And again, we don't say this after the fact. We say it before it happens, what could happen on both sides. So when we were pushing up here, there was something very noticeable going on. So let's go over them. Number one, we couldn't hold trend. We tried, failed. Number two, sellers still had a lot in their corner. They had the overnight low, they had value lower, the market was down, so there was a lot going for the sellers. So when they kept pushing, look at this. There's not one purple bar here. So the white is the bottom 50% of volume on the day. Purple is 40, yellow is the volume POC. So they spent, right? We talk about it all the time. Price is an advertisement. Price was being advertised higher for over 2 hours. Time regulates it. Wow, well, we spent 2 hours up here. That's pretty good. Volume confirms or rejects it. I can tell you one thing, there was no volume confirming this push. And what happened when they finally gave it up? We went from the high of the day to the low of the day, like that. That's a beautiful, so let me tell you what I told the room. Before we stopped one-time framing, somebody asked me, do I want to take a short against yesterday's point of control? Now, at that point, we still had, we did not have the single prints. We had taken it back. I thought H could possibly be an afternoon pullback. So I said, I'm not as comfortable taking that short because H pulled back and then had a reversal bar, and now I went higher. I said I would rather see us, if we fail up here, and take out eyes low for the short. That's number one, I told the room. Number two, I said, if that does happen, I don't think J's low is going to hold, and we're going to get a wider POC. Now, we never got 9 wide, but we did get a wider POC. And number three, when we did get below the 144, I said the odds of going to value low now have gotten very good. And we got right to value low. That was all being said as the market was going up, not down. That's what this room provides to our traders in here. So, for $1 a day, I think that's pretty valuable. Now, destinations in SPY, upside. 435.06 is today's high. 435.09 is yesterday's 9 wide pockets, now an upside destination. Downside is 432.47, which is today's low and a weekly low. And you should have the other ones from before. Now, ES 81.50 is our weekly low. Okay? Let's see something. Oh, I never put the single prints in. We still have single prints from June 12th that you should have. Now, ES never even took out one set. SPY did because of the dividend. So 81.50 is ES's weekly low. And to the upside for ES is 08, today's high, and 09.50, which is 9 wide from yesterday, which is amazing that we got that close up there and didn't get them. But SPY missed by 3 cents. ES missed by, what, a point? So let's go to the charts now, and we'll break down all of these indices. So first, Russell, the never-ending saga of Russell in balance on the monthly. So it seems like it's a perpetual balance. May of last year through almost June of this year. So that's what, 14 months, right? 14-month balance on the monthly. The weekly, which was acting so well for 3 weeks, now clearly back in balance. It's a 3-week balance. I wouldn't use 2, so if it takes out this week's low Monday, I still wouldn't call it down until it took out the week of June 5th. So it's a 3-week balance as far as I'm concerned. Amazing, eh? Balance. And the daily, though, is clearly down. They came out of balance a couple of days ago to the downside. They're below the 20, but above the 200. So Russell is balanced on the 2 long time frames and down on the short time frame. Let's go to triple Qs. Up on the monthly, very healthy still. Well, 1 time frame and up. 3 months after an outside month up. So the monthly is still very healthy. The weekly, this is the first pause we've had now in a while, right? It's still up though. So we came out of balance, bull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8 weeks now that we have not taken out a previous week low. This is the first time we've kind of really slowed it because it's inside. Now, if we come out of it to the upside, again, it's still up to me. If we come out to the downside, then we firmly come into balance. All right, so we'll see. Inside week, keep an eye on it. So the monthly is up, the weekly is up to balance. And the daily, now the daily is a little tougher. Again, you can call it down, you can call it, like SPY. I mean, they're one-time framing down now, though, like 4 days. But they never really took out this balance low. They never even got into the 12th trend day. So again, it depends on what you want to call. If you want to call it down, I have no problem with that. Don't forget, it's also an inside day. Okay? So for me personally, I was still calling it balance. I'm going to call it down to balance because they had an inside day. If they come out to the downside, they're clearly down. They come out of it to the upside, clearly in balance. So the monthly's up, the weekly is up to balance, the daily is down to balance. And then for us in the S&P, monthly is clearly up, right? We're still, we're still above August high. So we're still trying to get legs to try to get to April's high, but we've run into a roadblock. But the monthly is up. The weekly to me is up to balance with the inside week. I would not call the weekly down automatically if we take out today's low or the weekly high. Weekly high would definitely be back to up since it's up to balance. And we're one time framing up 4 weeks. And the daily is now, without a doubt, down. Gap up here is my main focus. But this is what I was talking to you about when I first came on. A lot of times when the market grinds higher, when during those bull markets, but then it would kind of slow, and you'd get 4 days in a row of upside, but you didn't really get any distance. Kind of the same to the downside now, right? This is the first day we went down. You know what that daily low is? 435.03. You know where we settled today? 433.21. So for 4 days worth of pushing, what have the sellers gotten? Not much. Not much. So again, sellers are getting paid. The shorts, I wasn't using the proper term. Shorts aren't trapped. They're getting paid. However, they're not getting, I think, what they want, which is, I thought they would easily go take back this trend day, which they haven't done yet, and test the 20-day moving average. So we'll see what happens on Monday. The market is still in the short term very short now. Okay, the monthly is long, the weekly is long, no doubt. But the shorter time frame, the daily, is short. So if we don't get going, there's going to be a lot of pain here if these guys get caught at some point. Volume, though, look at this, is 91 million. So it picked up big time towards with the after hours and the close. So it is above average for today. Anyway, I hope you had a great week trading. Enjoy your weekend, rest up, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.